Today's video, I'm going to talk about something we've been working on the last couple months pretty seriously, and that is we've been updating the Stamp Data Manager. And this is used if you need to add new varieties or make changes to existing varieties within the database. So I'm just going to show you some of the new features in the Stamp Data Manager. So let me go to Dahomey. I believe Dahomey is now called Guinea and West Coast of Africa. So I'll go to General Issue, and now we've changed the name of this tab to Stamps Grid because that's basically what it looks like now. So I'll get a Stamps Grid, and you can see here, first of all, look at the first two columns here, image and Scott number. Now when you horizontally scroll, it'll keep those two columns locked so you know which stamp you're working on. Before you would, for example, when you write Scold, you would not, and you were here, you'd say, oh, this is the value or this is the stamp type for what Scott number, and then you have to scroll back and say, oh, 47, then come back here. It's very, very clunky. And by the way, you'll also notice we have added the ability to directly edit values for Mint Very Fine and Use Very Fine within the Stamp Data Manager. Before, you'd have to go all the way to the stamp value table, and it was kind of time-consuming process. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down here. Choose page down if I want to. And go down to, I think it was 253. That's where I wanted to start. Yeah, 253. I want to enter the missing descriptions here for Dahomey. So let me start here at 5F30F 30 francs is a leopard. I just type in leopard. And let me show you something else. When I click on various columns, for example, the variety column, it's going to put up a combo box of the most common strings that would be that you would often find in the variety column. For example, a souvenir sheet, booklet paint. Instead of having to type them out, especially tête bêche pair, you have to worry about these two E's with accents on top. So you can just select them. Now this is not a tête bêche pair, obviously, but I'm just showing you how that works. Just bring it back to 0 again. And so that's basically the way it works, is you just click in the column you want to change. And if it's just a regular description of something, you can just type it in manually. And so for 60 franc, it's going to be a spotted hyena. Now notice also, like I was saying before, you can directly change the column, the pricing. Type in the perforation. The perforation is, got a little drop down that shows these characters here, because when you're typing in perforations, you often want to type in half or 3/4 or 1/4. So anyway, for this particular stamp, it's 12.5 by 12. And I'm going to pricing for $22.54. Say it's like $1.05 and $1.55. And for these other columns as well, for example, printer, we have the most common printers that we have so far found. If you have any suggestions for additions to this tab, we have no problem doing that. And you can enter the series. The series is Animals. The goal here is to make it as easy as possible to enter additional information and edit existing information, and we still got a ways to go, but I think it's better than it was before, and we're going to keep making improvements till it becomes a lot better than it was before. Another thing I wanted to show you is you can add sub-varieties the same way before. We also, for example, if there's a sub-variety for 257A, just click sub-variety, and you notice it brings in a kind of like a nonsense number, and that is because it's kind of time-consuming to see exactly to check to see if there's already, for example, a 257A, and so in the interest of performance, we just put in these three kind of random letters, and you just change them to whatever the sub-variety is. And of course, you can also always delete the item, move. And if you want to append to the end, it'll look at the last number of stamp you have in this particular list, and it'll add a new item with the that last number plus one. That's a good way to add additional new stamps for a particular country. Another thing I wanted to show is what happens when you scroll through these stamps. Now these images here, before we were having a problem when you scroll through, it was very sluggish, and the reason was it would take this particular image, the full size of the image, and have to squeeze it down to the thumbnail size. Now what we do is for Dahomey, for example, I think it's country 456, yes, is we create a really small thumb image as you scroll through, so it's kind of like on the fly, and this makes it much faster to actually show a thumbnail than to have to constantly squeeze large images into a small thumbnail size and then show it to the user. So that improved performance quite a bit, and we're also always looking for better ways to improve performance. We're going to make this entire database manager resizable. We're working on that as well. So anyway, that's it's kind of like a brief overview. We have this in the next update to the software, which is going to be out by the end of May 2025. Right now it's the 16th of May. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.